All right, here we go. Quiet! Roll 'em!
Dumbo was directed by Tim Burton and stars Colin Farrell, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Eva Green, and Alan Arkin. And it's another live-action remake from the classic Disney movie Dumbo. And when it comes to the original one, I was never really a big fan of it. Like, as a child, I think I only seen like the first half of it. Like, I think I never actually saw the full movie. I can never remember that. When I heard they made another live-action remake and this time it's Dumbo, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, wasn't that really excited about it. But when I heard Tim Burton is directing it, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, and Danny Elfman are back together, I was like, okay, now this gotta be something at least. I mean, I think this is the closest. I also think we're gonna get to a Batman reunion, to Batman 3. It kind of felt to me like to see Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito back together, like Batman and the Penguin back together. That was really great and that was awesome. Like to see them two back together and the whole kind of Batman world combined again. So that was fun. And now when it comes to the movie is okay. Like it does has a lot of different things from the original one, like there are no talking animals and stuff like that. But the main problem with this movie is it doesn't has like a complete structural story. Like it doesn't has a first, second act. Like it has a first act, it kind of has a second act, and the third act is just hammered in. Like there's no. I never feel like there's like a completed story structure. Like of course when we meet Colin Farrell, for example, who is a dad who comes back from the war. He's wounded. He has no arm, and he reunites with his kids, who's played by these two, and they both do a good job in acting. Like this is what I say. All the acting is good in the movie. Just the characters are very bland and forgettable. Like, I didn't remember anybody's name throughout the movie. I was just like, that's Danny DeVito, okay, Eva Green, and Arkin. Like, I never could remember any of the characters' names, except Eva Green Zimmer, the flying lady, because they keep repeating, they were saying that over and over again so much. So, like, yeah, the flying lady, I remember that. But that was the problem, like, the characters are bland and not interesting, like, at all. Like, for example, this girl, this is a good performance, but she's like just a female version of Sheldon Cooper. Now, there's nothing bad or anything, but like in this whole, like in the fact, like she's smart, the way she talks and act and react to people and everything is just like Sheldon Cooper. Yes, I'm smart. Yes, like just like young Sheldon Cooper, like the exact same thing, just female version, which is not bad, but like it didn't fit in this movie, I think, because she's the one like who's supposed to have this emotional connection with Dumbo, who trains Dumbo to help him learn to fly and everything. But since she's like Sheldon Cooper, kind of like this emotionless, close being like Sheldon is, that's why I said to young Sheldon Cooper, because the sad thing, you never feel like she has this connection with this animal. You never feel that connection, what I think they were trying to make. And also there's a choice made by Michael Keaton's character, who's like the villain of this movie. And at the beginning, he starts off like the classical, typical Disney villain, which was fun to see. And then then there's some changes made, but then there's one choice made by Michael Keaton's character, and it would just make zero sense. He only made that choice, that character, they only wrote it in this movie so they can have a third act. That's the only reason, because when the movie goes to the one point, it kind of feels like, yeah, okay, this is good. But then, no, we have to have a third big act and all that stuff, so we have to have him made do this. Even though it makes zero sense, even from his point of view of that character. Like, the things he needs Dumbo, but for some reason he want to do something bad, and it makes no reason at all. It only jeopardizes his business, in which he want to improve. So that was really a whole mixed match. That was really such a dumb moment. When I watched it, I was just like, oh no. It's just like, but because he's the villain, he need to do something bad. That was like the main problem of this movie. And like before, all the human characters, they give good performances, but like I said, they're forgettable and bland. Like I really didn't care at all about those human characters, if they live or die. Like there are a lot of characters that are just like for 2 minutes to show up and everything, and never felt any emotions between the human characters. Like with Colin Farrell talking to his daughter, you never feel like they're father and daughter, you know what I mean? You never get that connection. So yeah, but any other scene with Dumbo in it is great. Like every time the CGI elephant who looks great, I mean, the CGI on him looks great. He looks realistic, kind of. But every scene with Dumbo is great. He's cute. He's funny. I really like Dumbo. Dumbo was great. Like he's my favorite character. My favorite character of the movie is the CGI elephant. So he's a lot of fun. The moments the Dumbo would have with his mother would like be really short, but they are more emotional than with the human characters. That's what it shows. Like I don't know what Tim Burton decided to do, but like the CGI elephant I felt more emotion watching him and his mother hug for a couple seconds than the other human characters. Like even care about each other. Also, when you walk into this movie, don't expect a lot of Tim Burton stuff. I mean, like in the thing, don't expect like any dark elements of Tim Burton that you love in it. Like Night Before Christmas. Hey. This movie is really polished, clean, happy. Like there's maybe one or two shots that kind of have like a cool Tim Burton-esque stuff, but that's it. The rest is clean, happy, and everything. What was kind of sad, I mean, it was kind of disappointing. I mean, you have Tim Burton, the man who's known to do like kind of greedy, darker stuff. But since it's a Disney movie, of course, no, we cannot do that. So that was kind of the main point. But also, I also have another negative with this movie is that Danny Elfman in the movie, I love his music. He's one of my favorite composers. I listen to his stuff on a daily basis when I work out. I listen to his stuff all the time. I love his music. But in this movie, he really cranks up the angel music sound. Like, you know, in every Tim Burton movie, when Danny Elfman is attached to it, there's like this, you know, this big core, this big female core singing really high notes, you know, and violins and everything going at once. And there's so much in it in this movie that it got really to an annoying point. It was just like, it's like, because the first time Dumbo flies, you have that, of course. Yeah, it's logical, it fits, but then they do it again and again and again, like even for smaller moments here. And I was just like, it got so annoying, just like to a point it annoyed the hell out of me. And I was like, how is this possible? It's Danny Elfman. I love his music, but like, I feel like this is the only thing like Tim Burton said, okay, so for this movie, angel sounds. Just give me bunch of angel sounds, like as much as you can. And that's what he apparently did. What was really surprising, because I love Danny Elfman, I love his music, especially his Batman theme. I mean, this is one of the greatest I think he ever composed. So, Dumbo, this movie is okay, this movie is fine. There are some dumb choices made in this movie. The human characters are bland, forgettable, it's okay. Dumbo was fine in the movie. The music got sometimes really annoying, like my ears started to bleed at one point, but I'm gonna give this movie a C. Dumbo, I don't know if I really recommend this movie. It's like, it's kind of forgettable. Like it's not that interesting. I mean, if you're a fan of Dumbo, go see it. If you're a fan of Tim Burton, don't expect too much of Tim Burton-esque stuff like you would usually see in his other movies. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a great day, and as always, see you next time.
Cut!